Alright guys, welcome to another video, and today's a rather special one because we have a guest joining me, my sister Legendet. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Legendet. I'm the one with the cute cat and dog videos, so if you want to check out my channel, go do that.
Yep. I'll have it linked in the description. You can find it on my suggested channels on my homepage. And so yeah, Legendet, you want to tell us why you're here with me today?
We are here to talk about the amazing, miraculous new London special.
Yes, that came out for us English speakers just the other day. And Legendet here, she's sort of our resident Miraculous expert. I am a fan of the series too. Obviously, if you've been following the channel, I made a lore video on the series and why I think it has actually deep storytelling and isn't only for kids as the advertising might have you believe. But yeah, Legendet, why don't you tell us why you like Miraculous so much?
Well, I started out with Miraculous just thinking it's kind of just like a kid's show, like the commercials don't really do it justice at all. So I was
Yeah.
just hopping on, finding something to do, and I enjoyed the beginning fine. Like, it's not nearly as good as later on. But what really, hooked me into the series is all the whole love square drama. They just made
Mm.
that fit so well. And then the whole thing about Adrien and his mother being, dead, his father trying to bring her back to life, it just ended up being really good.
Yeah, I was not expecting the storyline to be as actually engaging as it was. Like when you convinced me to first start watching it, like the first two seasons are very different in tone from the latter two and a half, I guess you would say. I think Cat Blanc was the minute the series got serious or like changed.
It was.
Yeah. But so yeah, ever since that turning point, I was very invested in the show. Um, but yeah, so season five ended with the first story arc basically concluding, and Miraculous World: London at the Edge of Time is basically the transitionary story from season five into season six. Um, and obviously, season five. Spoilers if you, for some reason, are watching this without having finished season five. Gabriel ended up succeeding in uniting Tiki and Plag to make his wish with the Gimme, Kwame of Reality. And he ended up sacrificing himself so that Natalie could be healed and Adrien could have a mother figure. Um, so it's kind of a bittersweet ending, but one that was probably ended up being for the best given the current circumstances. However, as Miraculous London would reveal to us, there is a lot more going on in that scene than we originally knew, and we're introduced to our new villain for the next story. With that kind of introduction, we'll get into our actual discussion around Miraculous London. So, first off, Legendet, I would just like to hear. We're going to get into specifics, so you don't have to indulge too much in any specific points, but I'd just like to hear an overview of how you enjoyed it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of the Miraculous London movie?
I think the beginning and ending, I loved the whole dramatic moments they fit in there. It really hits you in the feels when you see
Hmm.
Ladybug talking to Adrien about his father. It's
Yeah,
just,
it's a very feely movie.
it is. I think the fighting was pretty good. It felt short to me. I don't know why, but I wasn't displeased with it at all.
Yeah,
So it
well,
was good.
yeah, I mean, those world movies are always 40 to 50 minutes. Like they're always just under an hour usually.
Right.
Um, so it felt about normal to me just based off those, but like comparing it to the literal Miraculous movie, it would be short. But yeah, for me, I think I ended up liking it better than I thought I would, honestly. To I was going in expecting it to be good just based off the trailers and stuff, but I think I ended up enjoying it even more than I anticipated. I didn't expect it to delve so deep into the emotional side of things. Um, I thought it was going to be more plot driven, but it was very character centered, which I do really enjoy. Um, I'm trying to think because when you said it felt short, I was trying to think if I agree. I'm not sure. I don't really know if I felt it was short or long, or I think I was pretty indifferent on the time. I think it got its due course, I guess is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say the whole movie was short. I just felt like it felt like the fighting just ended all of a sudden to me. I was kind of like, oh, that's
Oh,
it.
oh, the action
Like,
sequences. I see.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so yeah, that's our general thoughts on it. I guess we'll move into more specifics. It opens right, basic for the most part, as far as we're concerned. It opens right after season 5 ends, with Marinette as Bug Noir going to London to free Adrien and Kagami from essentially the prison that Gabriel and Tsurugi Industries built for them, so that they would be hidden away during the basically global takeover with the Alliance Ring plan and scheme. And as Bug Noir slash Ladybug, Marinette gets the service of having to tell Adrien about his father. So the main struggle for Marinette throughout the majority of this movie, and kind of what's probably the biggest theming of it, was the fact that she has decided to lie to Adrien about really what went down in the Agrest mansion and the true identity of his father. Obviously, we all know that Gabriel was Hawkmoth, then Shadowmoth, then Monarch, and was the villain behind antagonizing Ladybug and Cat Noir for all of the 5 seasons. But Marinette tells him that he was a hero and was being sort of either pressured or forced by Monarch to do some of his bidding, but then turned against him and saved the day and was a heroic sacrifice. So that's why he's dead. So the first thing I want to talk about here is kind of the morality of that. So this question is going to probably have 2 parts. The first part, Legendet, is I want to hear if you think that was the morally right decision. Do you think Marinette made the right decision?
I mean, she was in a really hard position because, I mean, all of a sudden hearing that your father was the villain you've been trying to defeat this whole time would be really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But at the
Well,
same
we
time,
saw,
he kind of deserves to know, like, it was his father.
yeah. I was gonna say too, in Cat Blanc, we saw the fallout of him learning it.
Right.
He was, he was literally akumatized on the spot.
I know. That would be hard. But, like, at the same time, it almost feels like he should know that his father
Oh yeah,
was Hawkmoth.
yeah. It's one of those. I think it's a morally gray standpoint. As Tiki said at one point in the movie, like each decision there will be good things about it and there will be sad things about it. So basically, you just got to live with whatever decision you end up making in those morally gray or dubious positions that these heroes find themselves in. Second part to that question is I want to know what, not necessarily what's morally right or the right thing to do. I want to know what you would do if you were in Marinette's position. What would you do?
I feel like I'd have trouble with that, but, like, I think I would decide to tell him just because it would feel wrong.
Yeah. Would it like eat away at your conscience over time, or do you think like you wouldn't even be able to stomach lying in the first place?
Well, at the same time, they technically have to lie all the time to keep their identities hidden and stuff, so it's not like
Oh
she's
well,
not used to
constantly.
lying.
No, not at all. Yeah,
So it might just be one of those things to help the
yeah.
world.
It's just such a big lie too to someone that you're literally romantically in love with, which is like the big struggle of it.
Right.
Um, I would say so. Personally, I would. Gabriel requested that Adrien be blind to the villain that he was as his dying wish when he sort of redeemed himself or redeemed what he could of the situation by sacrificing himself for Adrian's benefit, basically, and Natalie's. So he's basically helping the 2 living people that his actions would be hurting the most by sacrificing himself, which I think is a pretty redeeming moment for what is the main villain of the series. Um, I feel like I would be inclined to respect his dying wish, just given the fact that he did pull through at the end. But that, and
That's
also
true.
like he's, yeah, 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 and also like you were bringing up, just the turmoil it would cause Adrian too. You would sort of want to just shield him from that. But on a more larger scale than just Adrian or the Agrests, like on a societal scale, a lot of people, like he's obviously a famous tailor and fashion designer and stuff. So a lot of people look up to both Gabriel and Adrian as icons and models and stuff. And it is more beneficial for society to have a sacrificial hero to look up to than it is to have yet another celebrity that is evil the whole time. Um, and you also got to consider the fallout. Like, if Gabriel's evil, they might have a whole distaste to the entire Agrest brand or family line now. Adrien might be unwarrantedly discriminated against just being the son of Gabriel. So there's a lot of societal implications that come from both lines of decision making. But just from a society structure, having a hero that's willing to sacrifice himself to save the world is a better like role model to put forwards to the people out of a celebrity they know than yet another corrupt one. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about what you're saying about the dying wish that Adrian doesn't know. So honestly, I might respect that too, because it just seems like something you should do.
Right? Especially because like there was that redemption moment, sort of. Like, sure, if this was gonna happen, he should have had the foresight to not do a bunch of the crazy stuff he was doing in the first place. But he could have made the wish he always was going to make. He could have wished anything. Like, he had the power to do it, and he didn't. So, like whenever you have the power to do whatever you want and you choose the heroic thing to do, that is a pretty redeeming factor, in my opinion. Um, Moving on to more of, I guess, more plot-centered stuff than philosophical debates. What did you think of the main villain of the movie?
I mean, I think it was pretty good. They did kind of act like we didn't know who it was, even though
Hmm.
they showed us
That
at the beginning.
that's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, the end of season 5 revealed Lila was probably going to be the main antagonist moving forward, and the movie treated it like it was a reveal again at the end, or like we weren't supposed to know.
Well, also
Um,
the beginning literally showed us.
oh, did it?
Like
It strictly
that was
showed
like
us it was Lila.
yeah, that was like the first scene, and they acted like we didn't know.
Oh, that is even weirder if it literally in its own movie. Okay, I mean, granted, it's supposed to be the tension because Ladybug doesn't know, so it's supposed to replicate the tension she's feeling by being unaware of the identity. But so I get it. It just felt a little weird
Right.
from a staging
It,
perspective. Yeah,
it was just kind of funny because it's like, well, we do know exactly who's there.
yeah. I did like how it had like the ghost-like qualities and the time travel qualities. Like there's different powers that Lila can give herself through different akumatizations.
Right,
And I
that
think
was
it's really
interesting.
Yeah, right. And it's just a fun thing to play with because I think Miraculous excels at saying, "Hey, here's this world we set up with mechanisms that work like this or this," and taking a step back and saying, "What if this and what if that?" They've always been good at creating those what if scenarios and making them actually unfold. And the idea of
Right.
someone using the butterfly Miraculous to akumatize themselves over and over and get different powers is a very unique and fun thing to be able to see here.
It
Um,
is.
yeah, and also it
Um,
contrasts because what?
I was just gonna say, this is gonna be like random right now, but
Yeah.
earlier you were saying that Tiki said the whole consequences thing, but I'm pretty sure that was like Bunnix.
Oh, was it Bunny? I no, because remember she asked Flag and Tiki in her bedroom or whatever, like, did I do the right thing, you guys? I'm
Okay,
pretty
it
sure.
might have been them.
Well, I
I was
mean,
just trying to think about it.
Bunnix is always talking about decisions and consequences on a timeline scale, but I'm pretty sure just from that personal right or wrong thing, Marinette, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
you're right,
consulted Flag and Tiki. Yeah.
cause she like rolled over and Ben was like, "I did the right thing, right, Tiki?"
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to
Um,
think about it. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I really like the contrast too of Gabriel utilizing other people in his akumatizations and stuff, whereas Lila is like, no, I'm going to be a one-person show. Like,
Yeah, because I
the
feel like she
contrast there.
wouldn't trust anyone else. Like,
Right.
you see her in the series sort of trusting Chloe, but not fully. It's just like she's like a pawn.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think you're exactly right in that. The people she quote unquote trusts is just pawns she's using in her game.
Right,
Um,
and I'm honestly excited to see Lila kind of step forward as the main villain because they were kind of like making her seem like she was going to be really bad in the series, but she didn't do much.
you know what? You're exactly right. Um, I was thinking that before I knew, like, this is obviously making it all make sense. But before the Miraculous London stuff, I was like, why are they acting like there's such a foreboding nature or presence surrounding Lila when she's just been a like sideline antagonist or annoyance at best most of the time?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I am glad that she is kind of meeting the expectation that the show almost was like trying to foreshadow that she was going to have. Um, I on the note of her being a one-man show, the idea of carrying around a notebook to write down your discoveries while you're kumatized so that you can read it and remember it like for the first time again when you revert back to normal is really fun.
I really liked how they did that. It was a really good story of like just Lila being smart.
Yeah. I do we feel like her intelligence took a step forward at like in season 5 and now this movie than it did in previous seasons?
I mean, in a way, but I think we're just seeing it more because I think they kept a lot of her stuff hidden to make her not seem like the main villain at all yet.
Hmm. I think
So
you
she
could be
might
right
have,
about that.
yeah, she might just be we might just be seeing more behind the scenes.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you're probably right. It's just sort of that drip feed reveal because when you really think about her being a villain, we know next to nothing about her realistically for like confirmed canon. She's used so much deceptive stuff and like even her motivations are sort of weird.
Yeah, I feel like we don't fully know what she wants.
Yeah. Cuz like in the beginning, she was just trying to steal Marinette's life basically, get everything she wanted or had and then she kind of just got on this revenge kick at Marinette. But now it's beyond her just deceiving people to have personal gain or be looked at in a light whatever she wanted to be looked in what light she wanted to be looked in upon by the people around her. Now she's literally actively like having false identities, changing her appearance, concocting all these schemes. It feels like there's a much bigger web she's been trying to weave, and it's just like torturing Marinette as a side project.
Yeah, she just doesn't like Marinette.
It does. I really hope we get more lore surrounding her and her origin story or backstory or whatever, because now I'm actually interested in Lila.
Me too. I want we don't really know anything about her personal life. Like we
Right.
just see her with a bunch of different supposed moms. Who knows which
That's
one's
right.
the real mom?
That's a crazy thing too. What a wild thing.
It's like, what has she been doing this whole time that she's been like keeping everything so secretive?
I
And
feel like
how do so many different people think they're her mom?
yeah, I feel like that operation is like a Jenga tower. Like if one thing goes awry, it's just all gonna crash down. Um, but yeah, so that was the villain. Here's my question: Do you think? Do you? I feel like this is probably an unfair question. Do you think you're gonna like Lila better as a main villain than Gabriel?
I do not, just because Gabriel is such like a staple of Miraculous by this at
Yeah.
this point.
And the Agrest family drama was so good. I can't see it being beat, to be honest.
No, I don't think they'll beat it, but I think they can still make her really cool.
Oh yeah. I'm not a new equals bad person at all. I just personally feel like I'm always going to like this first story arc best just because it was so good. Um, like
Exactly.
yeah, like the other story arcs don't have to be bad to be less good than the first one. The first one was just so good, but I just think the rest will be good. I just think it'll always be my favorite. Will be the Gabriel arc.
I'll be happy as long as they don't just go on I don't think they'll do this, but some shows will just like try to get more out because they're so famous and then it just kind of goes downhill. As long as they don't do that, then I think I'll be happy.
Yeah, overextending yourself for profit is always the sort of like the beginning of the end for franchises.
Yeah, but I think I can tell they still have like a good plan in place, so I think they'll be fine. It's really if
Yeah.
they make up a plan on the spot because they want more out.
Yeah.
That's when there's the problem.
I am down for. I know we haven't tried these yet, but we need to get trying the video games that are out because I'm interested to see how those play. But
Yeah,
I
I
would
really
hope,
want to play those.
yeah, I am 100% down to have a Miraculous comic book series release or like even like a short story book collection release.
Oh yeah, me too. I would 100% read it.
I love collecting those and reading that for like I wouldn't want anything vital or pivotal to happen or be revealed in them, but I'd like them to be like supplementary lore or storylines to the universe.
Yeah, honestly, if it was just like FNAF, honestly, like those books, how they're
Yeah.
not actually like part of it, but they can give you like little things, like little hints.
Hmm. Oh, so
I
you're
think
saying
that'd be good.
you wouldn't even mind if like they weren't even strictly canon, but they were just like
Yeah,
what if scenarios? Interesting.
yeah,
Like oh, basically just this is a perfect example, like how the movie is, like the movie timeline.
exactly. Like you can just like the movie, you take it as its own thing, and you really like the movie. You don't count it as part of the series, but like it's its own thing. You like it. You want to watch more of it. I was
Yeah.
thinking that would be cool for the same thing for like books or comics or something, where you just
Yeah.
take it as its own thing and enjoy it.
I'd be down for that too. Then you could have three continuities: the series, the movies, and the books/comics.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
And the video games. I assume the video games are kind of in their own timeline too, but I don't know because I haven't played them.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I haven't played them, so I wouldn't know. So maybe they do. But based on the like trailers for them, it doesn't look like they really have much of a storyline other than what we already know.
Yeah, so it's just like it doesn't really matter. Like
Yeah, it kind of just looks like you get to use the characters like in just combat and stuff.
I would love to see a real world version of the game that the nerd, I forget his name. I'm just gonna call him the nerd, made in Miraculous with the
Yeah,
characters.
wasn't it Max?
Yeah, is
I
that
think
his
it's
name?
Max.
Yeah, he's a cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I'd play the heck out of that. If especially if it had like tournaments like Super Smash Bros and stuff, that'd be amazing.
That would be really cool.
All right, so next line of discussion, I guess. How did you like the time travel elements of this movie? Because I'm just gonna say this right now. It was called Miraculous World London, but it was barely about London. It was mostly about time travel. So,
Yeah, they probably just named it London because it's not like they went to another place like they did in the other ones. They're like,
yeah,
oh, they're still here. But
yeah,
I remember when we watched it, you mentioned it reminds you of the first episode of season 5,
yeah,
and I
100%,
agree. It was
100%.
it was it was very good. Like both of them are very good at transitional of like we gotta kind of get the whole factor of time travel out of the way so we know why we won't be able to use it all the time.
Yep.
Because that would be just overpowered. They have to just like show why they can't use it all the time.
Yeah, neutralizing the power creep because like when you're talking about those miraculous powers, like that's so strong, the plot would have to be completely dominated by that because why on earth would nobody try to use that all the time?
Exactly. So it's a very good transitional of power, like transition of power episode slash movie
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. And I think it did a good job too of making it so that Lila can't know Ladybug's identity right away or why she won't gun for it all the time because obviously, yeah, that would be like the smartest thing to do right away. And the whole while also explaining away why time travel is going to be in the back burner, it also explains why Marinette's identity will remain intact despite Lila being so cunning and clever, you know.
Right, and I like how they have Lila really going after the identity, unlike Gabriel, who just kind of went after Ladybug mostly. Like he did try to like figure out her identity, but Lila's like main focus in this special movie special was like the identity of Ladybug, and I
Yeah.
think that was cool because that just feels like Lila's personality. Like she'd want to go straight to the source right away.
Hmm. Lila's actually being clever about it. And I think like Marinette or Ladybug like pretty much says this in different wording, but it's like she's more clever than Gabriel was.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's because Gabriel, when he sat back and came up with a long-lasting plan, he was really good. But I
Yeah.
think he just always was rushing into it, just trying to do
Yeah.
whatever he could. I mean, you see him akumatize a baby a few times, like multiple times. So I think he's just akumatizing whoever he can get, just trying to go full force out there. But then it just kind of fumbles every time, where it
Yeah.
feels like Lila is gonna be more into the long game,
Yeah.
making
She's
the plans the whole time.
the Felix approach.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love Felix, like how he's able to do more damage like with one miraculous than Gabriel was with like all of them.
Oh, I know. Felix is such a great character. I hope we see a lot of him in season 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Felix. I liked him as that anti-hero, so it seems like he's going to be more of a good guy now, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I did like him as the anti-hero because whenever you saw him, you're like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. He's like he just has the Peacock Miraculous. Like that's kind of crazy. Like that's a powerful one.
It is. Hopefully he uses it well.
Right? I mean, it's Felix, I'm sure. What I'm worried about too is exactly what we're talking about with like time travel being too powerful, knowing Ladybug's identity being too powerful for the plot to remain like steady or engaging. Is Felix having the Peacock Miraculous going to be an issue as far as that goes? Like just being too much of a powerful entity for him to have?
Honestly, I feel like it's not gonna be too much of a problem because you see that he's trying to be really careful with it because like, he like knows that they do have feelings if they're
Hmm.
like people. So I feel like he's just gonna try to be really careful with it, and so that's not gonna
Right.
be overpowerful but still helpful.
Hmm. Yeah, that actually does make sense because it would fit him being conservative of like when and how he's using it because of all of his ethics that he has around Sentimonsters and stuff. So or Senta beings as he would like them preferred to be called.
Right, which honestly, that's fair.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, yeah. Man, what a crazy reveal when it was real that Adrien and him were Senta monsters. That was insane.
I loved that. That was like, you just like take a moment, you'll really let it sink in what that means, and your mind's
Yeah.
blown.
Especially when you look back at all the foreshadowing and the clues.
I know, because there was some things that didn't quite make sense. You're kind of just like, why did that happen? Okay. But then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes so much more sense.
My favorite kind of storytelling is when it all starts to make sense after like after one thing is revealed. You're like, oh.
Like that time, especially where he and Marinette were about to kiss, and then you just see Gabriel go, no, from all
I,
the way inside the house. And he just stops, and he's like, what?
I love the out of context version of that.
Oh, I know. It's so funny because you're just like, what? It's not like Adrien heard him because Adrien's just like, I feel strange. But now that you know Adrien's a Sentimonster, you know that he's like controlling him.
Right, it makes
Like
like
from being
perfect
able to do
sense.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That scene just is so clear now.
Yeah, before like I thought it was meant to just be like representative of him like remembering his father's commands and being like, "Oh, I don't want to disobey my father." But it's
Right.
still you're like that's a little extreme. But then like when you know he's a Sentimonster, you're like, "Dang, now I know."
I know. It's so crazy.
Do you think okay, so Adrian doesn't even understand that he's a Sentimonster, right?
Yeah, I think only Felix and Kagami know.
Right, other than Ladybug.
Other than Ladybug now.
So, do you think that's going to be a big revelation that Adrian's going to have in season 6 or beyond relatively soon here?
I'm wondering. Now, I don't know if they do this, and if they did, I'm not sure they'd do it anytime soon. But I'm wondering if, like, maybe even the final showdown, Lila's gonna get the rings that control Adrien and Felix, and maybe even Kagami, and just renounce them.
Oh, that's such a good theory. I wasn't even thinking of that.
Like, in front of Ladybug, so she'd just be like, oh crap.
That's oh, that's brutal. That's or wait, do you think maybe she would even take full control of them somehow and force them against Ladybug?
All of the above, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
that'd be crazy. Like, maybe
Oh,
she'd
that's
turn them
brutal.
against her, and then renounce them as she's about to, like, get them back.
That's
Like, maybe
that's
she's reasoning
brutal.
with them.
Oh, yeah.
That
That's
would be
such a good
insane.
theory. That is a good
Thanks.
theory. I like that. Um, I bet that would be like a season 10 thing, right? If the next arc is going to be a
Honestly.
5 seasons. Actually, that's a good question now that we're on that topic. How long do you think this next story arc is going to be? Like last time it was 5 seasons. Do you think it's going to be that long again or it's going to be a shorter arc?
I mean, I can't tell. It depends how much they want to do with Lila. But I feel like it could be another 5 seasons. Like, they might just have every story arc be 5 seasons. I don't know how long they're
Yeah.
going completely for Miraculous, but
I mean, I think there's like a tweet or a post out there somewhere by like one of the head guys that says as long as there's many to watch, there will be new seasons. So like if as long as it stays popular, its stuff will be coming out.
Yeah, so I bet they have a bunch of stuff that like they think they could put out or like they want to do for the storyline and they're not sure how long it'll go.
Yeah. Um,
So, yeah, you hear that, fans? We just gotta keep watching.
just keep watching and put positive comments out there. My goodness, you go to the Miraculous subreddit and it's just like everyone's hating on season 4 and 5, and it's like, guys, come on.
Yeah, the fan base comments are a wild ride because there's some who are very excited about it and some who are very like
Yeah.
critical.
I understand the people that enjoyed the format or tone of seasons 1, 2, and even half of 3 more. Like, if you're into that kind of thing, I understand. But you have to admit, seasons 4 and 5 just had better writing. Like, it was just better storytelling.
Yeah, story wise, that's when it really took off. If you didn't want a deep story and you just wanted to see characters you like working together, then I can understand why they like the first seasons better. But if you
Yeah.
want a good story, that's season 4 and 5, and even like the second half of 3.
Yeah.
That's when it started picking up to be really good.
And actually, too, to get back to how long Arc 2 is going to be, realistically speaking, the entirety of the storyline of the first 5 seasons could have been told in that 2.5 season window when it got serious. So, do you think arcs might be more likely to be 2 to 3 seasons instead of the full 5, like now that they know what they're doing?
Actually, that might be true. Like they might just condense it more.
Yeah, like less filler of just random stuff, you know?
But who knows? They might just want to get a lot out for
Yeah,
like
I
more
mean,
show content.
yeah. I mean, either way, I'm just thinking too, because it took almost a decade, or basically a decade, for Arc 1 to complete, and I'm just wondering if they're going to want every arc to take an entire decade,
Right, that feels like a long time.
right? Like, the fans who are started it when they're like, I don't know, in middle school are already like 21, 22 now. So, like, imagine finishing Arc 2 when you're in your 30s. Like, you're probably like, either you have kids or like a career or like,
Yeah, exactly. So they might want to get it out faster. Plus, like, eventually writers are gonna come in and out, animators, like all of that,
Yeah,
they're gonna switch around and it just might get different. They might want to
yeah.
condense them more just so that they have like their same flow.
Yeah. It depends how much. I think too, a lot of it comes down to how much do they have planned from this point forward. Like, you can
Right.
have, yeah, you can have the goal to last like many, many years, but not necessarily have everything fully planned out. Like, I am confident they have Arc 2 mapped out. If not all the way, then pretty much everything in it. Um, the question is, do they already have plans beyond Arc 2, or is that a time to start planning when Arc 2 is closer to finishing? Like how much they have ahead, you know?
I think they at least had Arc 2 planned for a while because they brought Lila in really soon and they set her up right away to be like a villain. So I think they had her as a plan for a while. So I think once season 6 comes out, if we see someone new or even someone old kind of switch, like have a flip switch, like something like that where we feel like there's someone that could be a big villain later on, I think that'll show us yes, they have plans for a new arc. But if
Hmm.
there's kind of nothing and it's just focused on Lila, then it could be either way.
So you're basically saying we got to look out for the foreshadowing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So do you think when Lila's introduced way back for the very first time, this idea was in their minds, or if it's more of like a the direction the story ended up taking type situation?
Um, I feel like they at least knew they wanted her to be a big villain later. I don't know if they knew what they
Hmm.
wanted to do with her, but I think they knew they wanted her to be something.
Well, like for instance, when Felix was introduced for the first time, I wholeheartedly believe the entire Sentimonster plan was in place the minute Felix was introduced.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's when they're like, okay, we can like set this off.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much of Lila was forethought. Because, like, you can introduce a character and be like, this is going to be an antagonistic type character and give her the personality traits, but not necessarily have her entire story arc planned out. I'm just wondering at what point was the Lila's going to be like the big villain plan was solidified in the story.
My question right now is at the end of season 5, we see that like light with Lila. That
Uh-huh.
wasn't really explained. What was that?
Uh-huh. I am glad you brought that up because that was on my list of questions to ask you. So let's jump right to that. What do you think about that? Because, huh?
It almost seemed like it was herself traveling through time to herself.
Holy crap, that's a okay, so actually, all right, back up. That's a good theory. We see objects float around and lightning type substance crackle, which is not
True.
synonymous with time travel. As of yet, there might be a method of time travel that does that we're just not introduced to, but as of yet, that's not synonymous with time travel. So, do you still think it's likely to be like a time travel situation or something different?
Hold up. I just thought of something. I don't know if it's at all right. But, um, the end of season 5 was after this movie, technically. So what if it was herself with her notebook? She figured out somehow something and brought it to her.
I'd have to watch that scene again just to make sure that scene specifically would have happened after London. Because we know the picnic happened after London, but do we know that Lila scene specifically happened after London? There could be weird like order shenanigans going on here.
True, I don't know.
Because if they're willing to show us a clip of something that happens way after their transition movie, like I would not be surprised if like the equivalent to the after credits scene is supposed to be back before that too. Like I wouldn't be surprised is what I'm saying.
True. So basically, we have no idea still what it could be.
Yeah, I do want to watch that part again now. I've watched it many times because like I was like, huh, when it first happened. And now that they didn't even address it, like I don't think it was even like it wasn't even remotely attempted to be explained in
No.
this movie, right?
I
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about it until like just now. I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, we never really got an answer to that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it till literally like halfway through the London movie. I started thinking like, wait a minute, this isn't explaining that at all. And then it got to the end, and it sort of dawned on me that we had no new information towards that, and I was like, huh?
Which, if it was supposed to be after this movie, they might just explain it in season 6. But if it was before, then I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they're keeping quite a bit of cards up their sleeves to be revealed in season 6. They didn't even show us how Lila looks like after she transforms into the butterfly miraculous holder. Like they wouldn't even show us that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're trying to just save a bunch of cool moments for season 6, like the opening.
Yeah, because they probably want us to see her in the new animation for the first time and everything. So that's probably why they want to wait for that reveal. And then that it does get me a little bit hyped though, because if what happened at the end of season 5 that Lila saw or encountered or whatever is a big enough of a thing to hold back on revealing in the movie where she debuts as the main villain, that like it's important enough that they want to wait for that reveal, it might be something really good.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Um yeah, I have high hopes for it. If you take a shot in the dark, what do you feel about it? What would be one of your theories about it?
Like how she'll look.
No, 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 no. I meant the thing she encounters at the end of season
Oh,
5,
I was like, wait,
whatever the
what?
heck it is. No, 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 no. I mean, we could discuss that, but that's harder to talk about.
I know,
Because who
that's
the
why I was
heck
confused.
knows?
I was like,
Yeah.
what?
No. Shot in the dark, no shame, because we have next to no information. What was it she encountered at the end of season 5?
I'm gonna say herself.
Herself.
Yep.
Nice.
What about
I'm
you?
going to, yeah, this is going to be vague purposely because there's so little information. I think it's going to be the true villain of season 6, or not season 6, arc 2. I think Lila is going to be sort of the main villain for a while, but I think is going to get into a part where it's going to be like she's not the real threat. Like sure, she's a pretty hefty threat, but there's something worse lurking behind everything, even if it's not like behind Lila specifically. There's something worse that's been lurking in the shadows of Arc 2, and I think Lila might know about it. And whatever she encountered there is going to be like the true villain or antagonistic force of the second arc.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty vague because I'm not even saying what it is or what it wants or who, like whatever. But that's just the gut feeling I have about it is along those lines right now.
I bet you're right. That sounds like smart.
Yep. With that, we're gonna transition to sort of the last discussion topic that I want to bring up before we bring this very special Playmaster Plus video to a close. After the London movie comes to its end, we see the storyline. How much do you think you enjoyed this movie relative to the other Miraculous World movies that are out there?
I think it was in the middle, maybe. I'd say it was a little better than the New York one, even though that was really good.
Yeah,
Um, Better than the was it Shanghai?
yeah, the China one.
Yeah, I'd say it was better than that one, but I'd say it was probably second to the what was that one called? The
Uh,
one
the
where
the multiverse one, right?
yeah, the multiverse one. Whatever that was called.
Ladybug and Cat Noir.
Yeah, I'd say that one was just a little better.
Yep. I am very similar. I think I have China at the bottom of my list when it comes to that just because I enjoyed the movie, but it's been pretty inconsequential to anything moving forward.
Yeah, I'd
I
say
think
Shanghai was bottom.
yeah, and then New York would be just above that just cuz I didn't particularly like the actual like meat of the plot of New York, but I did enjoy the Adrian moments we got a lot.
I agree.
Yeah. Um, and then I really like this one, but I think I have to put it a second place to Multiverse. This one was really good. I really liked the character studies and the emotional depth it wasn't afraid to approach and everything. But the Multiverse one was such a good use of a different universe colliding with our own universe that we're used to. The whole Adrien fighting himself scene was amazing. There was even hints of him being a Sentimonster in that. Seeing the good Gabriel was just a breath of fresh air, I guess, just an interesting new concept. And it also gave us some fantastic still image art scenes. So like I gotta put multiverse movie first, but London is probably the close second to that.
Yeah, so I'd say we have the same list. I agree.
Yeah, virtually. Yeah, we just virtually agree on the listing of that. Um, how do you like
But they're
time travel?
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I was just
How do
gonna
you like
say they
time
were all
travel?
really good.
Yeah. So how do you like time travel as a concept in Miraculous? It's been handled a few times now, most notably in the beginning of season 5 and now in London. How have you liked how it's been utilized in Miraculous?
They do it well. I think they do it in a way that they can't have it be too powerful, but also in a
Yeah.
way that it is a big threat.
Yeah. Very respectable to understand to handle that, overpowered type, superpower situation in a way that can make it make sense to the audience, at least somewhat, and, try to prevent plot holes from arising by saying, well, now hold on, wouldn't they just use the time travel mechanic? Um,
Right.
and yeah, and there's different things you can always pick apart or complain about because time travel is such one of those complicated concept type things, especially when utilizing in a narrative to make like always make cohesive sense. So of course there's going to be different things you can debate about or argue or say a character should have done this or that with the time travel power. At the end of the day, I think it's executed at least good enough for the story to be good and maintainable in the future.
Right, and there's some things where like, why didn't they just do that? But like, they can't have them just do that because then we wouldn't have a story. So it's like
Right.
they try to explain it in a way that's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely acceptable, if not good. you know?
Exactly. I do like how in season 5 they showed like they hinted that Gabriel used his like second chance a lot more than we realize.
Oh, that I
Cause
forgot
like
about that. That was amazing. I loved that.
I love that too. Cause like he like we wouldn't know if he's using second chance. It's like it seems like the main timeline.
Right. Yeah, that was really creative. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Do you think time travel, like what do you think time travel, if ever, will be a big element to the plot again, or it's going to be sort of sidelined for a long time?
I mean, if there's another character like a new character, eventually that's the big bad villain. They'll probably have that Miraculous again or something. So they'll probably bring it up at some point, but I feel like
Yeah.
that'll be gone for a little while.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what we get moving forward from here. I can hardly wait for season 6 now.
Me too, I'm so hyped.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me as a co-host to this video, Legendet. Very good having a conversation about Miraculous with you. Hopefully we can do it more often.
Yeah, we should. That was really fun.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please let us know in the comments. If you enjoy having Legendet here as a co-host, please rave about her in the comments. Please go to her channel and subscribe. Check out all her cute pet videos to take a break from all your lore hunting with me. And if you like this topic we covered, also let us know with your likes, with your comments, so that maybe we can do it again in the near future. But yeah, the unknown persists, so the investigation continues. I'll see you next time, guys.